How's it going, everybody? This is Joey of Underage Packers. Today we are talking about the Packers players whose contracts are coming up to an end this upcoming March. Now, obviously, this is quite early to talk about those contracts, but training camp is right around those times where the Packers are willing to make those big extensions for the big-time players, such as Kenny Clark last year, who got his big 4-year extension right during training camp. So today we're going to be looking at a few of those players that I think might be getting a new deal here pretty soon. The big one, obviously, is all-pro wide receiver Davante Adams. There's been quite a few talks this week. Jeremy Fowler coming up with some new report that the Packers were close to a deal to make Davante Adams the highest-paid wide receiver in the league. Davante had a very well-stated statement on an Instagram comment this week where he just commented the cap emoji, which for you old heads out there means false. You know, this is the lie. So what part of that is truth and what part of that is false, we don't exactly know, but all we know right now is cap. Davante did mention this offseason, though, that him and his team are in talks with the Packers working on a new deal, so an extension should be coming sometime soon. There is no Packers wide receiver under contract next year outside of rookie wide receiver Amari Rodgers. So every single wide receiver, we're not going to be talking about every single one of those, but Marquez Valdes-Scantling is a really interesting case for me when it comes to this offseason and what the Packers might do with his contract. Last year was kind of a breakout year for MVS as he established himself as a deep threat, a weapon for Aaron Rodgers with 690 yards and 6 total touchdowns. He still struggled with drops, still struggled with some other things, but I believe we haven't seen the best yet of Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and I think he can only get better. As his rookie deal comes to an end, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Packers lock him up now before he, maybe has another explosive year this year, shows them more. Where he might set the market too high for himself, outprice himself of Green Bay, especially with the cap situation they have going on now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Packers, like I mentioned, lock him up now. A low-risk, high-reward type contract for MVS, only spanning over 2 or 3 years, that locks him up and to keep him and his potential locked in to Green Bay. Now to the defensive side of the ball. Once again, the rookies and Jair Alexander are the only 3 players at that position locked up past this year. And there's some really interesting candidates to be re-signed. Kevin Keene and Shannon Sullivan aren't the best players. There's definitely room to improve. However, they're going to get the job done. You're going to win games with them. But are you willing? Do you want to pay them to come back, or do you think there's room to improve? I think Shannon Sullivan is definitely one that they would bring back, even if they find somebody to play better on the slot, maybe somebody that fits better in Joe Barry's defense. I wouldn't be surprised to see him brought back because I don't think there's too high of a market for Shannon Sullivan outside of the Packers right now. Kevin Keene, he will really have to have a killer season. He'll have to stay on the field, and I don't see, no matter what happens, if he outplays his contract that he has now for the 1-year deal, either way, I don't think he is brought back to the Packers after this year. And to end it off, we are going to the special teams, J.K. Scott and Hunter Bradley. Yeah, they're gone. J.K. Scott, I would be surprised if he is on the initial 53-man roster. They have J.J. Molson, who they brought in this January to be a COVID reserve guy if something happened to J.K. Scott. And they kept them pretty separate, so they did that with all special teams positions, including kicker. So maybe they like what they saw from him earlier this year, and they want to keep him around. And they'll certainly bring in a few other guys at the punter position to have quite the competition. Speaking about competitions on the long snapper side of things, they brought in Joe Fortunato this year. So their only outside free agent target. So everybody is going to have their eyes on Hunter Bradley and Joe Fortunato for the ultimate long snapper competition this training camp. It should be exciting. But that's all I got for you today. Let me know your thoughts on all of these Packers players with contracts coming up. Who do you think is most important to extend this offseason? All of that good stuff. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I'll see you later. As always, go Pack Go.